অসাধারণ। Dear students of class 8, আমি তোমাদের জন্য আজকে একটা তোমাদের নতুন সিলেবাসের এক্সপেরিয়েন্সিয়াল লার্নিং সিলেবাস থেকে ইংরেজির 1.3.6 থেকে I wandered lonely as a cloud উইলিয়াম ওয়ার্ডসওয়ার্থের কবিতাটা পড়তে চাই। শিক্ষার্থী বন্ধুরা, তোমরা আমার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে বই খুলে যদি কবিতাটা পড়ো বাসায় বসে বসে, তাহলে নিঃসন্দেহে একা একাই ভালো বুঝতে পারবে। তো লেট আস go through the text. I will explain every stanza and every line even for your better understanding. So I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poem written by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over the vales and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. Dear students, let me explain every line for your better understanding. Whenever I go through the line, I will talk about the different sorts of figures of speech that has been used in the poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud. The very first line, the poet talks about that he wandered, সে ঘুরে বেড়িয়েছিল, lonely as a cloud, নিঃসঙ্গ মেঘের মতো। এখানে as এই শব্দটার মধ্যে দিয়ে প্রথম লাইনে একটা সিমিলি প্রকাশ পাচ্ছে, lonely as a cloud। কেমন নিঃসঙ্গতা? একটা মেঘের মতো নিঃসঙ্গতা। আসলে এখানে প্রথম লাইনের ভিতর দিয়ে কবির মনোজগতের বাউলপনা ভাব ফুটে উঠেছে। বাংলা সাহিত্যে যে আমরা বার্ড সম্পর্কে জানি, লালন গীতি যদি পড়ি আমরা, হাসান রাজার গান, এই সমস্ত গানের ভিতরে যে বাউল তত্ত্ব আছে তা ওয়ার্ডসওয়ার্থের প্রথম লাইনের ভিতর দিয়ে ফুটে উঠতেছে। I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over the vales and hills. যে মেঘগুলো উড়ে ফিরে পাহাড়ি উপত্যকার উপর দিয়ে, পাহাড়ের চূড়ার উপর দিয়ে। কবি যখন এই মেঘের মতো পাহাড়ি উপত্যকার উপরে উড়ে ফিরছিলেন, তখন তিনি কি দেখলেন? When all at once I saw a crowd. Suddenly, when at once it indicates suddenly, he saw a huge crowd. What the crowd is about? A host of golden daffodils. A huge number of golden daffodils bloom in the hilly area along the bay of a lake. The poet talks about a huge land area full of daffodils with a host. What does host indicate? You know, when some guests come to your house, your parents entertain them with good foods and drinks even. So the land of daffodils entertain poet's mind like a host. That is why the huge crowd of daffodils and the landscape has been compared by poet as a host. So this is not the direct comparison, a host. It is the indirect comparison, and it is called the metaphor. You can say mixed metaphor even. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The golden daffodils grew along the hilly area in a huge quantity, enormous quantity, and just beside the daffodils growth place there was a beautiful lake. A huge number of daffodils beside the lake with the fluttering and dancing and tossing their head by the gentle blowing breeze. So this is the first stanza. Let me talk about the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine. Continuous as the stars that shines. This is another simile. The huge number of daffodils has been compared with the stars in the sky. In the next line, we must see that continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. So first line, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Milky Way, you know, the only galaxy of our universe where our Earth is as a planet is the member of that Milky Way galaxy. Whenever at night we look to the Milky Way, we could see huge numbers of stars blinking, sparkling and twinkling their eyes. And the Milky Way looks like a beautiful pathway. And they stretched in a never-ending line. The stars in the Milky Way were as if unending in a line. So as the golden daffodils in the hilly areas. Along the margin of a bay, 10,000 saw I at a glance. In this very line, the poet has used beautiful figures of speech, that is the exaggeration. The human mentality usually talks about something. Whenever he or she talks about something, he or she wanna say about something in a exaggerated way. Exaggerated way মানে যেমন ধরো তুমি একটা কোক খেলে, এক গ্লাস কোক খেয়েছো, কিন্তু বলে ও আমি আজকে ভালো ভালো খাবার পরে শত শত লিটার কোক খেয়ে ফেললাম। এই যে অতিরিক্ত বাড়িয়ে বলার ধরন, এটাকেই বলা হয় এক্সাজারেশন। তো কবি যখন মেঘ সেজে নিচের দিকে তাকাচ্ছে, তখন এক ঝলকে সে 10,000 গোল্ডেন ড্যাফোডিলসকে একসঙ্গে দেখতে পেলেন। টজিং দেয়ার হেডস ইন স্প্রিটলি ডান্স। ড্যাফোডিলগুলো কেমন ছিল? টজিং। দ্যাট মিনস দ্য heads of the golden daffodils were fluttering, tossing, swaying by the gentle breeze, and it creates an unethereal, a beautiful celestial beauty that entertained the poet. This is why the land of daffodils and the beautiful golden flowers that bloomed in that area in a huge number has been compared with the host. So this 10,000 saw I at a glance. This exaggeration, you also it turned as a synecdoche. So it may not be needed for you. So you know, dear students of class 8, this is the 1.3.6 segment. So I hope you have understood very beautifully. Sharthak, sit over there. Can you talk about what is simile?
Simile is a comparison between two different things. It is drawn through like, as and so.
Very good. Thank you very much. So I wandered lonely as a cloud. Do you think it's a simile?
Yes, I think it is a simile.
Why?
Because here the comparison is drawn through as. Here we see that I wandered lonely as a cloud.
That means the hiking of the poet in the hills has been compared with the floating clouds. And they both were lonely. The clouds in the sky were lonely, and the poet himself was lonely and was hiking in that way. So, thank you. You have rightly said the definition of the simile and the similarity between the cloud and the poet. Okay, so very good. A host of golden daffodils. The land of daffodils is compared indirectly with a host. Do you think it's a simile or metaphor?
It is a metaphor.
Why do you think it's a metaphor? This is because it is indirect simile.
We know that metaphor is an implied simile. Simile is drawn by as, like, or so, but metaphor is directly compared, such as he was a lion in the battlefield. But when we use simile, we tell that he fought like a lion in the battlefield. So when we read the line, a host of golden daffodils, we generally understand it is a metaphor.
So in the poem, I wandered lonely as a cloud. How many similes or what are the figures of speech have been used? Can you identify from your first reading at home or in the table?
Yes, I can identify all the figures of speeches in this poem.
So, dear students, so thank you very much, Sharthak and Sifat and Shobhan even, Yamin, Jubair, Rafi, Noman. You also have understood the simile and metaphor, and you have been well informed, I think, about the poem. Thank you very much for your better participation with us. Thank you.